Hey guys, Chris here with Work to Game, and lately we have been talking a lot about what is going wrong in gaming, what needs to change in gaming, what is, all these shifts and how it's finally just hit this critical mass and we're upset. And Brian and I have agreed that we're not going to talk about a certain game here on the channel anymore, but I thought something was interesting that Hawaii is actually pushing to outlaw loot boxes. And this spreads across all of gaming, and so things like EA, obviously, Take-Two and stuff like that, it could make a big shift if that became illegal because they're classifying it as gambling to minors. And so we saw CS go through a little bit of this, and we actually saw some streamers get in a lot of trouble for it because they owned a site and they were kind of pushing that site towards their viewers. They weren't disclosing quite the relationship between them, and they got themselves in a lot of trouble. And so this is kind of an interesting shift in that we talk about, well, there's nothing anybody can do about it. Well, as we have a public outcry, the people who we vote for can. And so Hawaii's been an interesting state lately because they've also talked about kind of outlawing texting while walking. And so there's a lot going on there in that they're starting to really take regulation and step it up a notch because they feel that either we don't have the ability to stop ourselves or we don't have the ability to stop companies from doing things. And so they've really just decided to step in across the board. And so it's interesting to see them make a big push here on the loot boxes, because the question becomes, if you start to have multiple states or multiple countries or any governing body outlaw this, how long until it becomes easier for developers to just say not at all? I won't do this in any of the locations I publish my game because it's hard to develop one form of the game for this group and one form of the game for this group. It's easier to just say across the board I won't do it. And so that's kind of an interesting push. And then actually we're seeing that it's just been announced over on PC Gamer that there will be no microtransactions of any kind in the upcoming Obsidian RPG, despite Take-Two involvement. So this is a studio that did a lot of things. Fallout Vegas, I think, was one of theirs as a big one when I was reading through kind of the list of who this team has been in the past. And they said they've gotten no pressure, but this is directly in the face of the fact that Take-Two, what did they call it? They said that they would have all future games would have recurrent consumer spending opportunities. And so these kind of microtransactions, right? And these could be as simple as loot boxes or skins, or, we've seen it done 100 of different ways. And for them to say, this is our new business model, and then come out with a game, whether or not you're following Obsidian RPG, come out with a game that isn't doing that, means something's changed. Something has shifted. And so I just thought that was really interesting. We're starting to get back to kind of our normal programming here on Work to Game. You see Brian start to talk about what's going on in Final Fantasy 15 today. Obviously, we've been gearing up for patch 4.2 in Final Fantasy 14. And so across the board, it seems to be business as usual, both for us and for gaming as a whole, that we've been shifting into end-of-game awards, end-of-game end-of-year sales, end-of-year awards, excuse me. And so the only way we can totally shift back to this business as usual mindset is for us to start seeing that some of what we've been complaining about, some of what we've been whining about is changing. And so I just thought that was a really positive way to kind of end the week, a positive way to say it's interesting to see that some of the developers are responding, that when a team, we've talked a lot about how, there's a relationship between a development team and a publisher, and it's the developer's job to say, no, I'm not going to do that. But publishers put a lot of pressure on them. They pay the paychecks. And so if there's 5 publishers out there interested in publishing your game and all 5 of them expect you to do something, you have to go home and say, okay, how important is it to us that we get this game out to our fans? Because it doesn't look like we're going to have anywhere to go with whatever that item is. And lately it seems like that item seems to be microtransactions. So for a developer to say the publisher hasn't been pushing us, whether or not they're just saying that to be polite or that's actually the truth, means that it wasn't even a development studio standing up to a publisher that made this happen. It's just pressure from everybody. They're looking across all social media. They're looking across maybe some possible legislation. And they're saying, for now, let's not have any part in this. If the team doesn't want to do it, let's not push them. It's a win-win. The team feels like they're going to do what they want to do. We're feeling like we're not touching something that seems to be a really hot issue with a lot of other publishers right now. So I just thought that was fascinating. I would love to know what you guys think. If you could let me know in kind of the comments below. And and just kind of where else you're seeing positive things in gaming lately. I've been reading a lot about how Nintendo is shattering all these sales records with the Switch, which is a huge change, and how we have just all of these shifts across the board that are for the positive. It's easy to get hung up in all of the negative things that go on in something, especially, you know, Ryan and I have been sick lately, so we're not feeling horribly well, so when somebody says it's negative, it's like, oh, of course it's negative. And so it's awesome to see that there could be a lane there where they're actually listening and they're hearing us, and that we're seeing these games of the year. We're seeing Zelda do really well. We're seeing Nintendo do really well. We're seeing, you know, Final Fantasy 14 patch 4.2 looks awesome, and so I'm actually really excited about where things are headed, and I hope you guys are too. My name is Chris with Work to Game. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. Brian, do you think there's anywhere they could catch us in the meantime?
Right now, Chris, we're probably on Twitch. If it's probably in the afternoon, it could be you. Sometimes you see my face. And we also found this random guy, you know, named Kevin on the street somewhere.
I accidentally left my password written on the side of my car.
Oh man, that was really a big mistake. But guys, we really appreciate it if you guys hit the link in the description below for our Twitch page. We'd love to see you over there. And you can even subscribe to us over on Twitch.
If you're Amazon Prime, that could even be free.
Oh my gosh, what a deal.
Well, cool. Well, thanks guys so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.